And it was like that because the decision was like a week before school started.
Oof.
Very hard at the time. My mom and I were in tears. However, she knows what that school did for me and the people I met and what it did for me personally. That was groundbreaking because it really taught me how wealthy people truly are, not the fake stuff, what people said,
Yeah.
what they truly do and how they help others and how that was a major, importance in their life. Um, and it just like made a big impact. It's like, man, I want to be like these people one day.
Yeah.
And I knew it wasn't going to be given because I knew what it took to be successful, and that was up to me to have my own journey. That's what kind of started. That really opened up my world.
Welcome to the Dealmakers, the podcast where we dive into the stories of entrepreneurs, business leaders, and those that have made game-changing moves in their industry. So today we are joined by John-Mark Bolton, co-founder of ClearDefense Pest Control, a company that went from startup to a multi-state powerhouse in under a decade. We're going to unpack his journey, the strategies behind the company's explosive growth, and what it takes to be a true deal maker in the home services industry. So, John-Mark, welcome, man.
Thanks so much for having me. Excited to talk to you, Shane, and I truly appreciate the invite.
Yeah, brother. I appreciate your time. You're a busy man, and I've been fascinated with your story. So we've been buds for a little bit, and I want you to take us back to the beginning. You were an athlete with dreams of going pro in soccer, but an injury changed your path. So how did that lead you into entrepreneurship? Or is that something that you've always wanted to do?
Well, I kind of fell into it, and I'll describe why. Yes, I played soccer. That was my passion. That was my life, all the way through my childhood. Started playing in college at University of Louisville, and that was very short-lived because I had an injury that literally ended my career. And back then, I was 18 and 19, and that shattered my life at the time.
Yeah, I bet.
But looking back, as a kid going through certain adversities and building the proper mentality, right? How to be the victor in every single situation. It really led to me quickly flipping that mindset of, woe is me to this happened for a reason. Where is my focus going to shift? And entrepreneurship really started. I credit good old Ocean City, Maryland for starting my entrepreneurship career. I had an opportunity to go out there and live there for the summer while in college. And I knew I needed a job, and a place called MR Ducks. I met the manager, and she met me, and she was like, I have the perfect job for you. And it was selling pictures on a dock of families, right? You take a picture, and it goes on a tourist boat ride. They come back, and I'm making commission on every single sell, every single picture that I sold. So that's what got me into the game of sales, right?
Okay.
And I took this little business that the owner of MR Ducks, or one of the owner of MR Ducks, had, and I wanted to show him how good it could be. I wanted to break every single record. I wanted to make it as easy as possible for himself. So I kind of took the opportunity to change his business for the good. And also, more importantly, I knew it was going to help me on that journey and path of what it takes to make sales. And it's kind of funny. Everything I learned as a kid and everything I watched and viewed from especially my mother, who was in sales, and like our life was dependent on it, kind of came to fruition when I had that first summer of sales, and I broke every single record that he had.
Damn.
That's what started the journey of, wow, I like being able to tell myself what I'm worth and no one else. When he told me commission, I was raised on commission. That was it. I never had an allowance. I was raised on commission. And when he told me like, hey, this is commission only, I myself, I was like, this is the job. So now it's unlimited.
You saw that.
Let me do my part and show.
That's incredible, man. Because I swear, like, most of the young people that I've interacted with over the years, they hear commission and they just say, I don't know that I I don't know that I like that. I think it takes a very specific type of person. So you really channeled that athletic, like competitive spirit into sales.
Yeah, no doubt. It was my new soccer, right? It was my new life and everything was dependent on it. And I fell in love with meeting someone, building a relationship and making a sell and getting paid for that sell. That was very fun for me. I enjoy talking to people. I enjoy getting to know people, and I truly enjoyed, making it competitive for myself and knowing what are the records. I believe records are there for a reason. And I also believe, well, if that person can do it, why can't I be better at it? But it's up to me. It will not be dependent on anyone else. It'll be dependent on me and my own work ethic and what I know it takes to be successful. So that's what started the whole journey of like entrepreneurship. I was like, wow, I knew I couldn't do that forever. I actually did that for 4 summers. Knew I couldn't do it forever, but it allowed me to start thinking, what could I do, right?
Yeah.
To become an entrepreneur? Because my mindset was different, than the average. Especially back then when everyone was seeking their first job after college and wanting that salary. That wasn't for me.
Well, you mentioned your mom. What did your mom, what field was she in sales?
So she was a teacher when I was very young. When my parents divorced, I was around 4 or 5, and she quickly got approached about Mary Kay.
Okay.
And Mary Kay I attribute to literally saving our lives because it taught her proper mindset, right? It taught her how to set goals. And I remember seeing those goal posters as a kid all across our house, and it just kind of resonated with me. And I could verbally hear her every single day on the phone grinding, whether it's in the house, on the phone, or even everywhere we went. If it was Walmart, she was talking about Mary Kay.
Kidding.
And I didn't understand back then, but man, it's pretty cool now to look back of the sacrifices she took, the work ethic she had, to provide for us. She had to go make it happen. And so it was Mary Kay that I attribute, all of my kind of background in entrepreneurship. It was infused into me as a kid. And I think it's so funny. Like I probably learned a lot about it without knowing.
Yeah.
So when I had the first opportunity in Ocean City to put it all together, my first sales job, it's probably why I had a great start to it, right? I think sales is a learned ability. It's not, you're not born with it. You have to be willing to get uncomfortable to learn that art, right? And how to communicate to someone, how to show someone, hey, this is what I have to sell, and this is why you can't afford not to have it. That's what you got to be able to communicate to someone. So yeah, that's Mary Kay. I took my homecoming date in a pink Cadillac.
No, that is
I was
awesome.
very proud of that just because I knew what my mom went through.
That's so cool, man. So do you think your mom was the person that taught you the fundamentals of making deals?
No doubt.
Okay.
My mom was the sole reason that I know how to make a deal. And she is a passionate person. I am very passionate. But being able to see her, not only during her wins, but her failures and how she handled that was invaluable for myself.
That's one of the most important things, because I think a lot of people see the wins, but they don't see the 100 losses that it took to get to that win. And it can be really grinding and defeating, and it's so hard to stay positive when things aren't going your way. So that's
exactly right. Yeah. Your mindset is the most important thing that you have to be successful.
Did you have any other mentors besides mom in those early years?
My dad was a mentor in his own way. I saw my dad every other weekend, and my dad was clearly, helped. He was able to help me understand. He was a partner at a CPA firm.
Okay.
And so I had this wild dynamic world of information. So just to be very frank, when my parents divorced, I lived with my mom. At the time, we were extremely broke, right? I'd see my dad every other weekend, and I could see what money could do, right? Like he was the financial successful part at the time as it being a young kid. So I every other weekend I got to see what it could do. I also got to see at the same time what it takes to actually earn money, right? And that it's dependent on you and no one else. So that world of basically 2 different worlds, I got to see how you earn it through the grind that my mom was going through, and everything she has today is because of that, right? from the beginning. And then I got to see what it could do and the good you could do with money. Right. So that was very interesting to grow up around, those two different worlds. And then I got an opportunity because of my dad to go to a high school in Nashville. It was a private school. And I was able to, once I was infused in that school, I was able to be around a different type of wealth that I had never been around. And I got to meet a lot of key individuals that played a major role in my life in more ways than they even realize. And those people had a big impact because it showed me that wealthy people were not what I was told as a young kid, that everyone, that they're jerks, they're very selfish.
Yeah.
They care about themselves, right? These guys were the most wealthy people, or the most, not only wealthy people I've ever met, but the most kind and selfless individuals out there. I had never seen the type of giving until I went to FRA and I met these individuals. That was really cool to see, right? Because it just completely acts the whole notion of what wealthy people are. And, as I've gotten older and studied wealth, it's, the majority of people earn it, right? So that was very encouraging for me at a young age of like, hey, I want to be like those people, because I think giving is a massive part of success. And they showed that to me at a young age.
That's really cool, man. And what kind of backgrounds did a lot of those kids have? Because I think there's this perception that money comes from, financial services or attorneys or people that, manage wealth or something like that. But there's so many ways to make a living and make a really, really productive living financially as well that doesn't have to follow that white collar.
Right. No doubt. Without giving names, it was the large majority of them were business owners. And if I name the businesses, you would know. Also, being in Nashville, country music stars.
Yeah.
Those that went through the grind and made it, their kids were going to that high school. And man, the majority of the kids were awesome. They were like, my friends. And then the majority of the parents were just the most giving, nicest people in the world and someone that I wanted to be like one day.
That's so cool.
So, yeah, very much all entrepreneurs in their own way, shape, or form.
Do you find that the people that don't really come from much that end up making it per se give more than those who come from money?
Well, the most recent stat that I read, and Shane, you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, out of all the millionaires, say in the US, like I think I read there was like 80% are self-made. So the large majority, this is like the biggest study done on millionaires, 80%, 8 out of 10 were self-made. So it wasn't given, it wasn't inherited. And I think that goes right along with what I lived through in my own personal life. Was when I was around wealth. They were all giving. Like, I didn't meet a jerk out there. Okay? So 8 out of 10, it makes sense. A large majority. Yeah, I think it's something with when you go through a certain adversity and you're the victor of the situations, right? And you have the proper mindset of that growth mindset, that you realize giving is a big part of success.
Yeah.
Right? That could be financial, that could be time, that could be giving your whole all to someone or an individual to help them in their own life. But giving is a big part of success.
That's awesome. So you had your experience at MR Ducks, getting your feet wet with commission sales. And in 2013, you launched ClearDefense Pest Control. What inspired you to enter the pest control industry? And, how did you get that business off the ground?
So the inspiration came from a family friend named Chris. And he called me before I was done at University of Louisville. And I knew I couldn't be in Ocean City forever. So I knew I needed a career path. And I knew I wanted to ultimately start my own business in something. Chris approached me about pest control as he was an owner of a company. And I saw it as an opportunity like, wow, I know what I'm good at, the sales side. Let me go dive into this world. And I actually worked for him for 4 months. Did incredibly well. I did so well that after that contract, I had a ton of opportunity in a lot of different industries of people approaching me about what I should do and opportunities to become owners of different things. I ultimately, when I landed back I saw pest control as the route I wanted to take. This was going to be my vehicle to impact as many people for the good as possible. So Chris agreed with my vision, and he left that company and came with me, and he introduced me to Jason. And Jason had been in the industry for so long. Right away, I realized our foundation of what we believe is very, very similar, but they both had an operational aspect of the business and experience that I didn't have and was invaluable. And I intentionally, from the beginning, saw the value of a partnership, right?
Yeah.
To start this company and create a dream team. There is no doubt we wouldn't be where we are today without us three. And that can be very hard to do, but we all knew where we excelled at. We all leaned on each other for that. And again, our company has made waves and has landed us where we are just today because of us three as a whole and not, separate. So I was very intentional with the partnership and leaning on the inexperience that I had on the operational side, having a vision of how to sell and how to scale, not just one location, but many. But I knew I needed the best operationally if I'm going to go down this path. And so that's why those guys right away, it's like, this is our dream team. Let's go get after it.
Take to those.
That's when we started in 2013 and launched ClearDefense Pest Control.
Well, take me into those early days, because in my research, and you correct me if I'm wrong, you went from 0 to $1 million in revenue in just 4 months. Like, that's just like unheard of. So what's the biggest factor behind that rapid success? Was it just you guys having different roles and experience already, or, walk me through those first couple months?
Yeah. Again, as far as roles within the company, I was sales, marketing, and growth. They were operational and business. And we, when you can mirror those two and they're both are the best at it, and you mirror those two, special things can happen. So we knew exactly how to execute. We researched the entire country, and Raleigh outshined basically all the markets, but also the markets around it where we could eventually go to. But we knew year one, office one had to be a success. The way you grow to 0 to $1 million in a short time frame has got to be through grit, right?
Yep.
I had to build a team, I had to be the leader, right? And I build a sales team around me of individuals that I needed to lead and lead from the front. We went door to door and introduced ourselves and our service to homeowners, right, around all of Raleigh, and did basically a 4-month blitz and absolutely crushed it. Like that amount of work it took. It's weird to think back because that was like 12 years ago, but it was like 12 years ago almost to this day, where, not only did we have that success that we experienced in the sales aspect, but it was just so cool to have the guys that entrusted me that I was leading, that, hey, this is the vision, this is the goal, this is what we can accomplish as a team, and accomplishing that and more. I appreciate the guys that had faith into me, because it is wild to listen to an entrepreneur that has a vision and a dream, right? And then it's another to actually execute.
Yeah. Well, and you have to, like, especially in those early days, lead by example. So you're out there knocking on doors and making stuff happen. Do you guys still do that?
Yeah. As far as sales right now in 2024 and in 2025, it'll probably be similar. 50% of our sales are on the doors for my entire company. The other 50% is that organic lead, could be referral, online, the other methods of how people find you other than door to door. But I will experience 50% of my new sales will be from our team on the door.
That's incredible, man. People just
the lessons you learn from going door to door for just one summer, 4 months. In my opinion, it's worth more than a degree, because the amount of failure that you experience every single day. And we go like from year one, it is Monday through Saturday, right? Pulling long hours. We're out there at least by early afternoon, going until 10 p.m., 11 p.m. sometimes.
Woof.
Like, you can create a buzz in a neighborhood so hard that, like, people that are now customers of yours that you just met that day are inviting you for dinner.
Great.
That's what type of a relationship you can create. Someone you've never met. I used to enjoy every single door. I would give myself a positive affirmation. I love talking to people. People love talking to me. I can't wait to meet this person behind the door. That's what I said on every single door. And it's funny what would happen every single day. Right. So it's absolutely wild. And I encourage anyone that's in that entrepreneur mind, has an entrepreneurial mindset, wants to become their own business owner. Sales is half the game. So go out there and get uncomfortable and go hit some doors in some way, shape, or form to develop a skill that is a need for a business. Because what you will learn from it, it's priceless. It's absolutely priceless and worth more than any dollar amount.
I'm thinking like, oh my God, could I do door-to-door sales right now where we live? We live by some nice people, but I feel like people down south are a lot nicer.
It's funny, man. So I have clearly one of my locations closest to you is Fairfax. We will be in Maryland soon, but Fairfax, very similar market to where you live. You'd be shocked. Are there people that maybe you would call rude? Yes, right? But sales, it's not personal.
Right.
You have to make that black and white. It's not about you. You don't know what an individual has gone through that given day, right? So it's a mindset shift of understanding, hey, I'm going to hit a door and maybe someone will be upset. You have no clue if they lost a loved one that day. Don't take it personal. We're on to the next one with the same happy-go-lucky smile and can't wait to meet this person because guess what? I love talking to people. People love talking to me. So it's those affirmations that help you through that sales process of keeping it black and white. You can never take what people say personal in sales because at the end of the day, it's not about you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I believe in you, Shane. I think you could do it. There's no doubt. And if you ever want a little tester of selling pest control, I can help you out with that.
Hey, I would love it, man. That's so fun. And the pest control industry has been traditionally dominated by long established players, right? The Terminix or Orkin or whoever. What made you guys confident that ClearDefense could break through?
When I was young, I had confidence, especially what we had done in the past helped us know and have all the confidence in the world that we could take market share. I mean, was I overly confident? Maybe, but I think competition is a beautiful thing, right? It causes industries and businesses as a whole to get better, right? Someone's going to win. Why not you? So you better believe every day, my actions every day lined up with my goals of the future. So if I'm willing to create the habit of doing the things that others aren't willing to do, or my competition isn't willing to do on a daily basis, there is no doubt we're going to take market share. And there is no doubt, even staying under the radar, that people will see, holy cow, who's this ClearDefense Pest Control company, right? They're doing something right. And now that people have started to realize who we are without us, telling the world and being loud about it.
Yeah.
So it's, I love those companies because I look up to them, but you better believe it's like a soccer game. I'm going to do everything I can to win. But at the end of the day, I'm going to win or I'm going to learn. So in the long term, there's no doubt we could achieve our goals.
Yeah. That's so cool, man. You're getting me pumped up right now. I'm about to.
Dude, I'm holding back. Sometimes I get hard in the paint. I can get hard in the paint and I get pretty emotional, right? Because I'm freaking passionate about what we do and where we're going. But you could achieve everything and more as long as you believe. I truly, truly believe that.
Well, that is how you're building a strong sales culture. If you don't care about it as much, or if you're very laissez-faire, then it's like, how are you going to inspire the people that work under you to build?
That's exactly right. You have to lead from the front, especially the first 4 years of my business. I was not only scaling the business, but I was also leading a direct sales team within Raleigh.
Yeah.
So I knew that pain was temporary because that was a lot on myself clearly, but it was a lot on my family, and lucky enough to have the support and my loved one, Shayna, that understood the sacrifice it takes for the long term. She had an athletic background. Most athletes get, especially if you reach a certain level, they get what it takes to be successful. But the first 4 years, had to figure out how to put the right people in the right seat. And not that we were perfect at it, but we were pretty damn good, And if you could put the right person in the right seat, your company will take off. But it starts from one, right? It's like when you're working out and you see someone that may be super strong and you just started, well, guess what? That person had a day one too.
Exactly.
And if he could do it or she can do it, why can't I? All right. And me being competitive, why can't I and be better than that? So that's how I took my new life and business and career. Everything was dependent. I'm not going to be able to support my family the way I want to support them and give them freedoms if I don't do my part.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So it all started with proper leadership. Like, I need to be the proper leader for not only my guys, but my company to achieve the goals that we want to achieve.
When you made customer service the major pillar of your brand, and you guys offer 100% satisfaction guarantee and these eco-friendly treatments, but how do these strategies help you retain customers and stand out? I'm thinking of it like, all right, well, our service, if your service is a separator, it's kind of like and maybe like a Chick-fil-A versus a McDonald's. The food is great at both, depending on your taste, but the experience at one is significantly better. Is that something that you guys carry with you?
Yeah, no doubt. We are definitely in a hurry to serve. We actually doubled down on the satisfaction guarantee and also offer a money back guarantee. So what that does is risk reversal. If we're not doing the job that you're paying for, well, at the end of the day, what are you paying for? So our money back guarantee just simply states, if you have to call us more than twice about the same issue between services, well, guess what? We're going to come out for free those 2 times, right? But if we still don't have it under control, the next service, the next quarter is on us, right? We failed you. So it's just risk reversal for the customers. Like, they want to know you care about what you're doing. And if they know, like, there's a money back guaranteed, then what's the harm of trying this company out?
Exactly.
What's the harm of trying a company that has the most 5-star reviews out of any pest control company? There's a reason. It's all about doing those little things right. And how we serve the customer, if you only knew the half of it, of the little things that we do as a company to actually serve the customer the proper way and in our standard, in our book, you'd be amazed. But it's that risk reversal that truly does help.
Yeah. Well, I think it alleviates a lot of the, pushback or resistance that you would get from a new customer. Training the sales guys has got to be intense. I'm assuming. What's it like if I'm signing up to work for ClearDefense Pest Control? What's that training like?
Yeah, great question. So that has evolved with time, right? Because in the beginning, it was just me, and you're working with me.
Yeah.
But as we evolve, it's putting people into place, right, in the right position, and developing a model that's replicable. And so every one of my offices has a local owner in it that has a responsibility of leading a sales team. And now it's evolved to a training program even before these sales reps arrive. Our sales season, the main season, the regular season is summertime, right?
Okay.
May through August. That's when you get the most amount of bugs, the most pressure. And we have now a system that my leaders follow that's been developed to train sales reps before they even arrive. Back in the day, training started day 1 when they arrived. So it's much better to prep these individuals right before they go into this program with us. And it's daily meeting, or not daily meetings, it's weekly meetings with these sales reps, not only to go over the sales, but let's start investing into their lives, right? Let's show them who we are, what our culture is all about. And it's not just winning at business, it's winning at life. If I could help you achieve your life goals, right? Because life, you have business, you got personal, that's all life. What are your life goals, and how can we align those, right? How can I help you achieve those goals? And if you could do that for an individual and they're working for you, you will have someone that will bleed your company and die for it, because you truly care about that individual in their life.
Well, that's an employee first culture, which is awesome. I mean, I got to imagine that's the best way to get people bought in and invest in a team-driven business. And is that something that you guys do on essentially, do you do like regular check-ins with your people that work with you? Is it something that you handle in the interview process? Hey, what are your goals? What's that like?
All the above.
Okay.
There's no doubt you got to put your people first. And if you take care of your people, the success of the business will follow. That's our approach. We do it from the beginning. And we even ask certain questions to help align us with the proper person. But then it's small things that could help their life outside of work that makes a big impact. For example, we put them through a financial um, piece, right, that Dave Ramsey offers. That program can change and save someone's life, right? And it's cool to make money, but it's also, in my opinion, cooler to understand that money is a tool and you could just either spend it, save it, or give it. That's it.
Yeah.
And how do we use it to change other people's lives for the good? And so that's one small aspect that we, invest into our guys and offer to anyone in our company that wants to be a part of it. And that came from, you're going to laugh at this, my father-in-law, who named Dan Stearns. When I asked for Shayna's hand in marriage, so his daughter, he told me, hey, John-Mark, one of the requirements for me to get married to her was to go through this program, go through Financial Peace. And I had never heard of it. And I actually knew Dave Ramsey's daughter lived a couple of houses down from my girlfriend in high school. But I never knew what her dad did. And once I went through the program, I did that program in one day. I watched all the lessons in literally one day because I was like enthralled. I've never been taught this. This is a simple formula and system. I love systems, right? That I could follow with how to handle money. But they made such a big impact in my own personal life. I was like, man, this has got to help those that work in our company too. And they don't have to do it, but if they want to and they take one thing from it, that's awesome, right? It's all about helping individuals achieve their goals. And it's just looking for those things that you could impact someone's life outside of work, because it shows that you truly care about people. And if you care about your people, again, your people will fight for you. And that's something I learned too, just as being a captain of my soccer team. You got to lead from the front. You got to think about others, not yourself, right? And you got to show them what it takes, right? Especially during the adversity. How do you handle the adversity? What do you do in those moments? And
dude, I love that. And I'm so impressed with the different offerings I love the perspective, number one, but we don't really have in most of America any kind of financial literacy course. So I got to imagine that these employees that are coming to you, they don't have that background. And I'm not sure how many of them take you up on that offer, but I would bet a good chunk of them do. And this could be a larger discussion on financial literacy and best way to set people up. But I think that's awesome, man. Super impressed by that. So,
when you add things like that, plus you have your leadership conferences, right? On both sides, we do too. You do incentives where you go on a company trip, and for those that earn it. And so the whole company has a chance to get around each other from everywhere, right? You build those relationships. You have something like book club in your meetings. That's investing into someone's life, right? That's not just trying to make them better at the job. So it's those things, Shane, that people miss. And I think people see and they notice the difference when they experience working for us.
That's culture building, man. God, I'm so impressed. All right, ClearDefense, now in over 20 markets and growing. What's the next big move for the company?
Well, we're about to be over 30 markets a month from now. But biggest move right now for us is we are growing horizontally, but now also focusing on that vertical growth. So we're investing a ton of money into our company to achieve both. And one of the biggest things within that is just acquisition. We started to acquire. We have never acquired before a couple of years ago. And starting that phase is very exciting because it's a whole different form of growth that we've never experienced. And you can grow pretty fast. And what's been cool is we've been able to, dip our toes into it. Being at a certain size, you can really test out certain things. And our guys have done a phenomenal job with just the first one we ever acquired. And it showed us and our team that this is a great avenue because we do have something special here. And when people, not only our team members, but our customers that we have acquired experience what we provide, it's noticeable difference. So the attrition rate is very good. People are happy. And it's an exciting part of our business because, as you probably know, acquisition is a whole different ball game, but you could really scale even further and quicker
Yeah.
when you implement that into your business strategy.
What's that acquisition process like? Do you identify a market?
Deal making, baby.
Yeah, I get that.
Sorry, go ahead.
No. I mean, you go into a different market, you research a market and be like, you know what? This one has a gap in it, and we feel like we know what we can do. So walk me through that. Tell me what that.
Again, it's funny. New markets, that's our horizontal growth. We actually do that from within house. There's no acquisition.
Okay.
As of right now, that can happen later in the future. Right now with the vertical, we're acquiring in markets that we already have established.
Okay.
So we could have already an office space, office staff, technicians, etc. One of the biggest and most important things when you acquire is acquiring the people, and that's invaluable to us, right? Of getting good people. But that has helped with our vertical growth. We have yet to acquire into a market that we're new to. That could definitely happen. I'm not going to say that's not going to happen. That could definitely happen. But we're doing such a good job with that horizontal growth already. We haven't had the need to do that yet. However, thinking outside the box, can you match both? Can you do both at the same time and create even more success? Yeah, I believe so. I don't think we want to limit ourselves and, we have to do it this way. Something I've definitely learned through the years is you have to evolve with the company and how you make decisions, because you could actually limit yourself from the success and hindering your company from growth because you have what you think is the best formula to grow.
Right.
And that is a value of a partnership, right? That's the value of having, say business partners, co-founders, of having different mindsets about business and truly respecting each other, right? Again, we can receive more fruits together, which has happened, than we can alone. And just the ideas coming to the table. And as you get to a certain size, an executive team and levels of leadership, all those ideas are invaluable at the end of the day. Even if you disagree personally with an idea, it is the challenge, right? It's the balance of the opposite that creates a ton of fruits, because you usually end up in the middle and further ahead than you would have been just making that one decision before.
Yeah, I agree.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And you guys probably, you're having conversations at a higher level with the people that run the company, but you're also probably talking to the guys that are the boots on the ground and say, what are you seeing in the market? Give us some feedback on X, Y, Z. So you're always kind of fine tuning processes, and you're collecting.
You have to not only survey your customers, you're surveying your employees, right? Because there's things out there you don't even realize that are maybe causing a hindrance on the company. Well, okay, if we just fix that, we could 10x growth this area, which will help the compound effect in a positive way. So one of our executive VPs actually does this with our team and goes through a process, right? So we have boots on the ground. We have all the levels of leadership. And those boots on the ground, that is the face of our company. And if we can make their job a little easier and a little better and make that life, even happier, that's incredibly important in our book. So yeah, we actually have systems in place to do just that. And we are not perfect, but you better believe we're striving to learn from our failures and striving to get better.
Yeah.
And that's a daily thing. So.
That's incredible, man. I love that consistency. So every deal maker has one defining move that changed the game. For you guys, was it the rapid expansion into multiple states, or was there another pivotal deal that kind of took the company to the next level?
For me, it was, we had that one location where I live in Raleigh. That was our first location, Raleigh area. It was the biggest deal for me, and it took just as much faith from this individual, was showing how we can grow and scale. And that's creating a multiple locations, right? That first location in Charlotte, an individual named by Chase Harrison, he's one of the guys that came to ClearDefense as a salesman year one from the ground up. He had faith. He had blind faith in what I was telling him.
Yeah.
Right? because the company wasn't even started yet. But those that are willing to put in the work and always do the right thing, right? Success will chase you. Chase is that. He had faith in what I was telling him. He had faith that it would be success. And I think showing the company as a whole that when we went into that second location, this is good for everyone, that holy cow, we're going to scale very fast, right? And having someone like Chase lead that first expansion was invaluable. And that guy is a special human being. But if I didn't have him on my team, maybe we aren't here today talking to each other, right? So it's having just good people that believe in you. And that deal of that, that first expansion, our second location ever, him becoming a local owner into that location was a pivotal deal for our business because it proved that we could replicate this and maintain who we are, maintain our culture, maintain what makes us special. And in the same boat, change his life for the good.
Yeah.
So that was probably the biggest deal for us because now, say 30 locations later, that has taken off and we are further ahead than we thought we would be, from the beginning.
You mentioned your partners. Have your guys' roles changed over time, or are you guys still pretty much, I specialize in sales and marketing, you guys specialize in operations? Walk me through that evolution if there is one.
Yeah, it's been a very cool process. Yes, we know what we're very good at, and I still lean on this day in certain aspects of operation from the other co-founders, Jason and Chris, as they may vice versa on sales and marketing. But what's been cool and to evolve, and as we build out our exec and our leadership team, is being able to lean on those guys as well. Because now they've got a decade of experience, right? These guys are all from within that we've promoted to these levels and have earned it. We have truly changed. Just this past year, we hired an exec team. So we now have, the way the roles have shifted is we've given power to these guys in this way. We have a CEO in Chase Harrison. We have 2 executive vice presidents, one being Bo C and the other being Josh Whitelock, right? And then we have levels of VPs underneath that. So we're allowing us to get out of the way in a sense, and these guys to have major impact within the company, which I see as a very good thing. Because guess what? There's new ideas. They're fresh ideas. Some of these guys are younger, and it empowers them to make an impact for this company for the good. Because we all know what our next 10-year goal is. Yeah. We all know what we did the previous 10 years. And giving those guys power, there's just no better feeling, right? Whereas myself, Jason, and Chris really made those decisions for so long. Well, now let's let these other guys start to make some key decisions for the business and help guide the ship as well. So that's been very cool feeling for, I know, all of us founders, is to see these guys not only be willing to step into this role, but thrive. These guys are absolute studs, and we are fortunate to have them on our team.
Well, that is really interesting because that's so hard to do, because this is your company, this is your baby, you created this, and to be able to step away, not necessarily step away, but to empower others to make a lot of those decisions that you were making, that's got to take a ton of faith. And it tells me that you guys know that you've given them all the experience and wisdom that they can have in order to do that. And you know that they're going to not only continue what you were doing, but help you do it better.
Yeah. It's the fulfillment aspect, right? Clearly we have faith in what we're doing and what we're going after. You have to have faith. That's a foundational thing you must have. But, it's funny. These guys are ex-pro athletes, ex-college athletes. Like, they're individuals. It's funny. Like, they're very similar to us, but in a different way and in a very good way. And they're bringing ideas to help further our company to where we are not complacent within what we've done in the past. It's like, cool, we've reached a level. Guess what? There's levels to this. What are we going after next? And it's just a feeling that it's hard to describe. You can't put a price tag on it. A feeling of fulfillment that I think fulfillment is the best feeling in the world when you truly have that fulfillment aspect. So yeah, it's been a very cool and interesting transition in that manner. to see this, but the more and more they're in that, or the longer and longer they're in those positions, the more and more you see like, oh, this is good. This is very good for the company as a whole. And again, just fortunate to have guys like that.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I mean, the athletic aspect of it in the background, I'll harp on for a second. So that mindset is very unique. And I think it takes a truly competitive spirit to be able to do that. So one of my favorite athletes, some people don't like him, Tom Bolton. It's his mindset on everything is obviously win, win, win. It's almost maniacal. But they would ask him after each Super Bowl, which one is your favorite? He said, the next one. Do you ever find yourself feeling like, all right, I'm fulfilled. This is something that I've built. I love. Do you ever feel satisfied, or is it always, all right, this is good, but let's get the next one? How do you balance that?
It's a little bit of both, right? So I think there is a balance to it. It's a little bit of both. I think you do have to look backwards and just acknowledge what you've done and what you've accomplished. Because if you don't do that, what was the sacrifice for? And then at the same breath, you have to always, like, for me, it's like, if you are complacent or you think you're done, you might as well quit because you're going the other way. So it's always like resetting, or you hit a mark. That's great. You should feel very proud about that. You probably earned it. However, what are you going after now? You have to always be forward thinking. I think that mindset from Tom Brady, it's a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset, right? And growth mindset is something you have to have because this life is a process. And the moment you feel like you figured it out, or the moment you feel like you've achieved and, hey, I'm good, you're going backwards, right? And it's the old analogy of like, you have an axe, and every day, are you sharpening that axe or is it becoming dull? And I strive always to how am I sharpening my axe? And that's my mindset. So I love that Tom Brady he's a GOAT for a reason. And people need to understand that mindset is the most important thing to success. And people will be their biggest enemy during this whole process of life. They need to learn how to get out of the way. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, I agree.
They need to look in the mirror and understand, hey, I myself tell myself what I am worth. No one else. My success is dependent on me. No one else. And if you truly have that faith, I truly believe you do the right thing, you do your part, the success in life will chase you. But if you chase it, it's going to run away. There's no doubt.
What's the biggest lesson that either this business has taught you or any business?
Failure is a good thing. I think that started with soccer and developing the proper mindset, but seeing, the storm and actually going after it, knowing that the challenge, no matter what, will make you better. I started a business, as you mentioned. It was an online business. When I was in college, I took all the money I made in Ocean City and I put it into this business. And it was my investment into myself. It was not a financial success.
Yeah.
But it taught me it was a failure, right? Financially, it was a failure. But what I learned from it allowed me to put everything I learned. That was a life experience, right? Before that business and that business, it allowed me to put it when pest control came across my plate and I saw it as a major need. I was like, this is going to be it. This will be the vehicle to impact as many people for the good as I can. So,
well, I think
that's the failure, man.
Yeah. I don't think really people realize how many times entrepreneurs have tried other businesses. And there's some famous stories out there of guys that have been, maybe it's an invention, maybe it's a service, and it flops and it fails. And they could just pack it in and, go get a desk job somewhere. But they keep going, keep persisting, and eventually something hits. And it's the mindset. It's the mindset. And so
The most important thing is they didn't quit,
yeah,
right? Although one thing could be a failure, trying again, right? Learning from that and applying it to the next. Like, whom of you could actually do that? And it takes the strongest to be able to get up again and get after it.
Yeah.
Maybe you fail 100 more times, but I believe if you have faith, you're going to make it happen.
What's the best piece of advice you would give for young entrepreneurs?
One, have a vision. Have to have a vision of what you want to accomplish in your life and put it onto a whiteboard that you see every day. I do that with my kids and ourselves. Every day in my bathroom, I see our vision. Two, you have to create the habit of doing the things that others aren't willing to do on a daily basis, right? So you have your vision, you have your goals. All right, do your actions today line up with your goals of the future? So if you're doing something that others aren't willing to do every single day, you're going to achieve what you want. So creating those habits, those good habits, that would be my biggest advice to any entrepreneur.
Yeah. What's one book that every business owner should read?
For me, it's a simple book. It's called The Go-Giver. As I read it, it's everything I believed and everything I had learned about what creates success. So it's called The Go-Giver. Very short read. You could read it in one day. Simple read, but has big impact because the message is simple, but very few execute it.
If you could go back into 2013, what's one thing you would do differently?
This is a two-part answer here. One, I don't know if I would change anything as far as in 2013 as my vision and what we wanted to accomplish, right?
Yeah.
And know what to achieve. So I would encourage myself, you're on the right path because you had a lot of naysayers, right? And didn't even understand why you're getting into pest control. That only gave me fuel and it gave me faith that I'm making the right decision here. I know and I believe in myself. And one day people will understand without even saying anything. Two, as a business as a whole from 2013 to now, I think as far as a business change I think we would establish our corporate side of the business quicker. We waited too long to build that corporate structure for the business. You win or you learn. And that was a learning experience. It didn't jeopardize the big picture. It didn't jeopardize the company. But if I could do it all over again, I would have awareness of how fast we're growing and how heavy the weight is becoming of the entire company. And you need a corporate structure to maintain that weight.
What's the best deal you've ever made?
For me, it would be the first sale we ever made in ClearDefense Pest Control's history. That was the start of something that is hard